talk about some possibly lessons learned from yesterday, and then we're going to move forward into panel 3. I was hoping that the refreshments would be here, and they're not. So I guess once we get going, we'll take a small break so that you can then enjoy some of those as well, okay? So I'm going to pass it over to Denise.
Well, this is wonderful. We have a lot of people returning on day 2, so that suggests to me sustained interest. Wonderful. Last night, I wasn't able to join you at the networking dinner, so I took a little time to just step back and think about what I heard yesterday. And I'd like to share with you what I think I heard, and then if you agree, we're going to put these up on some big sheets, and then we'll all add to that. Okay. The one thing I think I heard is we definitely want to have a continuing community dialogue about these issues, that they're important. This is just the beginning of the dialogue. The other thing I think I heard is that we really we need to focus on the present and the future. You know, what should the future KM professional, what should the future KM knowledge worker look like? We have a rich past, but we need to look forward. The other thing I think I took away as a new member of the Academy, quote unquote, is that the Academy needs to listen to business on a regular basis. We all probably need to have our own advisory boards, but there needs to also be a larger group that's continuously advising the KM education, training, etc. programs. So we're meeting the needs of our clients. Maybe this group, depending on how we move forward, can become sort of an international advisory group to all different KM schools. The departments, etc. In general, that's what I heard. I'm sure you heard many more things that you can add to the sheet. On question 1, I think I heard that roles, responsibilities, we needed to add functions to that discussion. It's not just roles and responsibilities. And that one of the things that I really heard loud and clear is that how these are defined is context specific, that it depends on what the business is about, what the business goals are, where the business, the organization, business with a little b, where the organization is in terms of its maturity towards its business goals, and also its knowledge management maturity. So this is a continuum. This is not a there isn't ever maybe an end game to this. The other thing that I heard Ed say yesterday that was really important, it took a lot away from what Ed said yesterday. There was a lot of it. It was really good. Is now I'm going to have to see your room. That I think that the one thing was the career paths need to be varied. Okay? I'm sorry.
Most of us are having the same moment.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Oh, he's not here yet.
Ed's willing to repeat everything he said.
No,
Was it the entry level versus the?
Yeah, and I think in going into question 2, okay, the competencies are going to vary with the business and with KM. I think I heard about 3 general categories. KM generalist, which was really important, and I think several people reinforced that. A KM specialist and a KM strategist. Those strategic roles, strategic functions, etc. Here's the point. I think Ed's point was we need to be cautious about what we think of as a KM career path. That you need to have those general skills, and you're not necessarily, it may be somewhat dangerous for somebody to say they're only ever going to do organizational analysis. You need to have a big, broad toolkit. There needs to be, also, I think the other point Ed made was you're constantly going back and forth between KM and the business. So maybe you spend a little time in KM, maybe you go back to the business and come back. There's that cross-fertilization that's really important. Mix of theoretical grounding and experience. Art and design, I think we heard that as well. We heard another really important point yesterday, which was you're always talking about knowledge management, but one of the key roles is leadership. And leadership and management are two different things. There are a set of characteristics of people who do well in knowledge management. Networking, critical thinking, narrative intelligence, etc. The Renaissance person, really important in KM. By definition, I think we heard that the competencies are interdisciplinary, and it would be a little hard for us to define some of the boundaries, and maybe the boundaries aren't so important. Maybe we just say, if you're doing any one of these things, you may have an affinity with KM. And, oh, I know what it is. Because I did write it down here. This was really, and this is one of the reasons why I think we wanted to do this. The competencies are really important for legitimizing KM in your organization. So we do need to have some external recognition of what these are. Each one of us needs these to be able to point to and say we're doing KM in the organization. So anyway, those are the things I think I heard. I'm sure you all heard many more. But if there isn't any wild disagreement with that, I'd like to put those on some sheets and put them up on the board and then let you all add to them. And the other thing is, going forward, we'd like the question 1 and question 2, we'd like to hear how you want to move that forward. I think we did not finish the discussion of competencies yesterday. I think we just started to scratch the surface. So if there's a group that wants to work on that, carry it forward, we'll create the wiki for you to work in. We'll provide the platform for you to have the online meetings, whatever you want to do. If you want a survey, just let us know. Form a group, subcommunity, let us know how you want us to work, okay? So not every one of these questions will have a definitive outcome. Probably, none of them will probably have a definitive outcome. I'm not going to take any more of Jen's
I think
time.
you captured a lot of good people, put a lot of good things up on the board there that will help lead to the end of the day as what action items to take.
Can I also ask you, as a first community decision, we have recorded all of the panels, video and audio, and we'd like to know from the community, send us email, what you would like to do with those. If we can chunk them up, make them available on the wiki, if we prefer to keep this closed for a while, it will be a first community decision.
The question that we're looking at today is, what are the core and elective elements of a knowledge management curriculum for the 21st century? The question, remember we had the webinars, and just some food for thought, we're giving you what we found out with the webinars. So we found that on the question of the specific KM curriculum, our discussion is still evolving. KM is an evolving discipline which is trying to grow in an academy that is still solidly rooted in the industrial era view of learning. We seem to agree that the curriculum should address the competencies required for all 4 generic types of roles. And we still have the universal role that's tossed up, but we did identify that. And that the curriculum should be holistic in terms of how it allows knowledge workers in all roles to learn both about and how to do KM. And it needs to be dynamic to include new KM topics as they emerge. And last but not least, we say many different kinds of learning venues are needed to provide this holistic environment. We need to all work together. So, as we're going to talk today, and the questions are actually focused on, what have our panelists learned, which is KM core and elective elements, the KM curriculum, include know versus do in KM curriculum, and KM roles and KM core and elective elements. So that's what we're going to be focusing on with this panel. So, to introduce our panelists, we have, and let me also say, we asked a couple of graduate students one from Kent State and one from GW to join in because they both went through this program. So we wanted to get their perspectives as well. And Brian is not here, so we have another Kent State student that we're going to ask to step up and join us on the panel. And Joe, what is your last name?
Edwin Morris.
Edwin Morris. So we have Charlie Engel, who's from George Washington University. Brian Mickley is going to be replaced by Edwin Morris from Kent State University. Back. Okay. We have
Gervis.
Gervis. We have Gervis Grigg from the FBI. Brian is out. We have Toba Sanders from Northeastern University. Michael Stankowski, who is not here yet, from George Washington University, and Steve Weineke from Weineke & Weineke Incorporated. Okay? So those are our panelists, and we are now getting ready to start